Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today I'm at Jimmy Grande Ford here in Stonewall, Louisiana, and this is the 2020 version, something they had on the lot, so let's take a look at it. The 2020 version of the F-250 Super Duty. It is the Lariat trim level, and I'll list the trim levels and their base prices on the screen for you of the 2020 models in case that happens to be something you are looking for. And with this Velocity blue exterior color, the black rims, the black interior, it's definitely a very sporty looking truck. Not something you would think of associating with a Super Duty. Something that many years ago was, well, just a pickup truck. But you really don't hear that kind of terminology the same way that you used to because trucks aren't what they used to be. Let's talk a little bit about what has changed over the years. These sorts of trucks, whether it's the 150s, the 250s, and on up, now have so many available features that it's not just about hauling and towing anymore. It's also about making it fit a person's personality, their lifestyle. You can make this truck a luxurious workhorse, as I like to call it, because of how you can deck it out, basically how you can spec it. So it does a lot more than just hauling hay, hauling a heavy trailer, the horses, maybe taking the race car back and forth to the track. There's a lot more there. The interior is far more luxurious than many years ago a truck was ever thought of to be. And it has some pretty nifty features, one of which a lot of you F-150 and F-250 and on up owners may not even know about. And how do I know that? Because I've made videos specific to what I'm about to talk about and been amazed at how many people would say, I've had my truck for many years and didn't even know I had that feature. In fact, I had some local friends who had an F-150 and they watched one of my videos after they had traded that truck in and realized that they had this very feature and never knew about it. Ford has definitely not ignored exterior quality and the overall look of these trucks. These trucks are very tough, obviously. They have a lot of capabilities, great multitaskers, as I said, in a lot of ways. But I just enjoy seeing the overall design here of the front end of the headlights. And of course, some of that's changed a little bit for 2021. But since this is a 20, obviously, we're not going to be able to look at the differences. I do like the fact that Super Duty is stamped here into the hood. But that one thing that I was talking about here on the front end, depending on if you have it or not, and you're probably going to stop the video, tell me down in the comments how many of you did not know about this. Right here, where your front camera is, you're going to notice a little square right there. Have you ever wondered what that is? I'm about to show you. It is the front camera washer. That's right. Some of you had that feature and didn't even know about it until just now. How do you use it? You bring the front camera up on the infotainment screen and you just push the button on the turn signal stalk that you would normally use to wash your windshield with the windshield washer fluid. And as you can see on your screen, that front camera washer is going to come out. It's going to spray a stream of windshield washer fluid across the camera and clean that right off. So you don't have to do that by hand. I'm always curious to know, how many of you are hearing about this for the very first time? Of course, you do have an overall strong looking front end here. I like the way the grille is designed. You got those tow hooks right there. If you ever need it, you get stuck, or maybe you're pulling someone else out. Good to have those good sturdy tow hooks. Like I said, those nice looking headlights, plenty of light, and of course you also have the fog lights right here as well. When it comes to the fact that this truck has impressive payload and towing numbers, well, that's heavily due in part to the fact that under the hood is a stout 6.7 liter turbo diesel V8 engine, 475 horsepower, and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. Impressive numbers for sure. Of course, it's a four-wheel drive model, so you can take advantage of that in any situation where it's necessary. That power is put to the ground through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Like I said, this truck is very sporty looking and something you wouldn't necessarily associate with an F-250, and that's due in part to the black trim that you're going to find. You've got the black mirrors, the black wheels right here, but also the fact that these Michelin tires that are wrapping the rims right here You don't normally see those actually outlined in white like that, something you don't see a lot in this day and age. Of course, the black running boards. And obviously, with a truck at this price point, you're probably going to want to know about safety features, something that obviously we all want to know about on our modern day vehicles. I will give you a partial list on the screen of those features. Make sure to check out the description of the video. There's a link to the Jimmy Grande website for this exact truck if you want to see the full list. Of course, you've got those black running boards right here, the step right here. Really wouldn't call that a running board. Boy, did I just date myself with that. I don't think they're even known as running boards anymore, but these side steps right there. And one thing I always like to point out, because the Fords are the only vehicles that have them, the Fords and the Lincolns these days, at least that I know of, there might still be some left, that have the combination right here for accessing the interior on your vehicle. That touchpad right there, make sure you always program that, and it's not hard to do. You can do it right through that Sync 3 infotainment screen. It's very simple to do, nothing difficult at all. But if you ever get into a position where you need that and you haven't programmed it, maybe you lost your keys or locked them inside the truck or something like that, you're going to wish you had done it. So I suggest if you own one of these or buy one, take care of that as quickly as you can. And one thing that I find interesting here, just because of the trim level, let's pull out the right key. I've been reviewing multiple trucks today. This is just something that I think of sometimes, just little things that I pick up on. Back in the 1980s when I was a kid, at least in the mid-80s, it was really cool to have what was called a switch comb. Well, this is kind of a switch key right here. There is the remote, but as you see, obviously you don't have push button start, but you do have remote start if you wish to take advantage of that. Always a nice feature to have. So in case you're wondering about numbers, this truck comes with a 355 electronic locking axle. The rear gear is a 373. Of course, it has trailer brakes and trailer sway control all built into the truck, so you can easily control that. Now, one thing that I've done myself here, so always think about it unless you already know the features of the truck. This is not a dampened tailgate, so I'm going to just lower that slowly just like that as I put the capabilities on the screen for towing, the towing numbers, the payload numbers, all that good stuff. I've got all of your tie downs built in back here. You've got the lights to light the interior of the bed, those LED lights here in the rear of the truck. And of course, you got the step right here to help you to get into the rear of the truck. Very easy to do. And if you're wondering, maybe the first time you do this, man, how do I put all that back in? It's actually numbered right here. You've got number 1 right here, so you're going to hit that number 1, number 2 right down here that allows you to fold this handle down. And then, of course, push the step back in. You won't find a number 3, but hopefully you don't need that. You also have the power rear window right there and a bed liner right there, so you're going to keep your truck from getting scuffed and scraped up here in the bed area. A very nice feature, something nice to have as coming with the truck instead of having to add it yourself. All right, guys, let's talk about rear seats. What you can find back here, what you can do, and what your rear seat passengers will be able to take advantage of. If you ever need to change a tire, of course, got all the tools here underneath the seat area. Also, quite a bit of storage there if you want to take advantage of that. Very easy to access that. Seat pockets, large door bins, like the grab handles that make hopping in and out much easier than it would be otherwise. Dual air conditioning vents and quite a bit of connectivity back here. A 12-volt power outlet, dual USB ports, and a 110 power outlet also. You've also got the same in the front, including that 110 power outlet. So quite a bit of connectivity here to power phones and whatever else you may need to. And there are 4 cup holders here in the rear. You've got 2 on the rear of the console, 2 inside the fold-down armrest right here. You also have 4 in the front. And if you've ever looked in the interior of one of these trucks and you're thinking to yourself, show me that, I've never seen that before, I'll show you how to do that if you don't already know. What about space back here? Well, it's not too bad. Decent amount of headroom here and a lot of leg space. As you can see, I can stretch my legs out pretty good. Very comfortable in the back seat of this F-250. Okay, as we hop into the front seat of the truck, I bet a lot of you are never going to forget about this being what I called a switch key. Just one of those things that I like to throw out there for fun, but I bet you'll never see that the same way again and not think about it. Kind of a nice little bug to plant in your mind so you think about coming back and watching my videos again, which I appreciate you doing, guys. Thank you very much. Now, as far as the interior goes, of course, you're going to find all of your controls here for the power windows, door locks, all that good stuff. You have heated and cooled seats here in the front. Very nice feature also when it comes to your mirrors. You can extend those mirrors out for towing. You can also fold those in. The controls for doing that, of course, are found right here on the door panel. Everything is power. Of course, easy to read speedometer, tachometer, the instrument cluster. You can go through a lot of information through your steering wheel mounted controls here if you want to do that. Cruise control, voice commands, all that good stuff. And the controls right here across the top of the dashboard, right above the infotainment screen for the Sync 3 system. As you can see, pretty self-explanatory as to what you can do there, including turning traction control off, something I wouldn't necessarily do because this truck will spin the tires if you take off with that turned off, and the back end can kind of move around a little bit. So not that you're going to lose control, but just something to think about there. And on the far right-hand side, I know I showed this earlier, but there's the button for your camera views. You can see the 360-degree view from above if you want to do that, to kind of see what your surroundings are, and multiple camera views, of course, from all around the truck. Very, very nice. Of course, this is obviously a four-wheel drive truck, so the controls are there for that. Obviously, controls for towing your trailer there underneath. And if you had wireless charging, with this particular model doesn't have, although it is available. This one just doesn't have it, but then of course you've got your USB ports there, and there's that 12-volt power outlet I was talking about, the controls for the radio, for the dual zone climate control here. And right here, I'm going to take my water out of that drink holder right there. If you didn't know about this, tell me down in the comments. Kind of like that front camera washer that a lot of people don't know about. I would imagine it's less likely that people don't know about this, but if you think, man, I wish I had 4 cup holders, you just slide this piece across, and you do have 4 cup holders where you can leave that in place and use this storage area over here for whatever you want. And of course, right here, the nice large console, nice large multitasker of sorts, because that doubles as an armrest, the lid does. A lot of space in here. You've got the little tray in here where you can keep your coins and whatever else. You can take that out if you want to as well. And as far as how much storage space there is inside this console, I would imagine, depending on the sizes that you have, I'd say a good 10 to 15 Vehicle Visionary t-shirts would fit right inside. And additional storage, of course, with your dual glove boxes there, upper and lower. And I really like the fact that Ford has multiple switches up here already wired. Of course, there's the control for your power rear window. Just a lot of great features here with this truck, even though obviously the Lariat is not the top trim level. If you're looking for a 2020 model of the F-250, this is definitely a good one to consider, especially something that maybe has that sporty look to it with that exterior blue color that we looked at earlier as we looked at the exterior of the truck. Obviously, that's right there. But the main thing you're probably going to want to know about is, how does this truck drive? Let's hop out on the road for a quick test drive and find out. Okay, as I get out onto the road and I'm just kind of easing into the pedal here, a little bit of a tech tip of sorts. Have you ever dealt with turbo lag? And what I'm talking about, if you don't know what turbo lag is, with one of these turbocharged engines, you drop the fuel pedal to the floor and it just kind of eases its way, kind of almost falls on its face, we'll say, and then it kind of gets up and goes. That's turbo lag. And there's varying degrees, of course, of that. But if you want to decrease that and almost eliminate it, don't floor it. The easiest thing to do is to ease into the pedal, and you'll find out that it reacts a lot better. In fact, you'll find the acceleration is better that way as well. You might find yourself driving to a faster speed quicker than you intended to. It just depends on the situation. Hopefully that helps somebody out. Now, as far as the overall driving experience, well, the ride's going to be a little bit rigid, but that's what you'd expect with something that has the capabilities to haul and tow what this truck ultimately does. You throw a heavy payload in the bed, haul a heavy trailer, yeah, you're gonna see the ride quality improve, and it's really not that bad. I remember many years ago, it's been a long time, but there was a time when Ford definitely had some of the roughest riding trucks in the industry, and they definitely have made great improvements in that area over the years. But overall, I must say, I really enjoy these F-250 trucks. I actually had planned on buying one for myself many years ago, well, not many years ago, maybe 4 or 5, but just decided against it. But overall, that's just one of the reasons I really wanted to buy that truck, is because these trucks are so versatile and so enjoyable to drive. Not difficult to park, even though it's a fairly large truck, obviously, but with all of the aids, driving aids, and all that good stuff today, that really alleviates a lot of problems like that that maybe you would have had years ago. And of course, you drive a truck this size for a little bit of time, you're gonna get used to it. It's not that big of a deal. Having things such as the backup camera and those multiple camera views definitely makes a big difference as to how easy it is to be able to park something like this and see what's going on with your surroundings. Just overall, a very well made and very well designed truck with a lot of great features. And as I've said before, it wasn't that many years ago nobody even thought about having on their vehicles. And there you go, guys. There is a quick tour of the 2020 version of the Ford F-250 Super Duty Lariat trim level. Gotta say a special thanks to my friends here at Jimmy Grande Ford, and of course all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.